Could you survive in the jungle if you were in a plane crash? What would you do if roving bandits or gangs after the you know what hits the fan were to run you out of your house and you found yourself fleeing into the woods, into the wilderness, into the desert, whatever is near you? Could you survive? Well, that's just what four kids just did in the Colombian jungles for 40 days. Yes, I'll cover more on that in just a second. But these are things a prepper ought to know. Hi, this is Greg Allison with Green Greg's. I'll make this quick, guys. But you need to understand what you got to do to survive. So what I highly encourage you to do is to learn how to survive off the woods, learn how to eat your wild edibles, learn bushcraft skills. I've got videos on this channel that tell you how to eat wild edibles, how to identify them. It's good for my area. But what you really ought to do is get you some books or pamphlets. This is supposed to be good for all of North America. This one is. But you want something maybe like this, but you need something local for your area. This one's cool because it's just a handy dandy quick reference guide. You can get these at a lot of your bookstores, and it shows nice pictures. You know, I got the books from Mule Givens. I got some other bigger guides on this kind of stuff. So these are all good things to have. And I highly encourage you to avail yourself of resources like that, because when the grid goes down, you're not going to have YouTube. Watch YouTube while you can, but back it up. Have paper stuff. Have books on homesteading. Have books on gardening. Have books on bushcraft and survival. Get you a military survival guide, FM was it 22? Anyway, I forget now, but I got that too. So make sure you get these kind of things if you can. You can get that kind of stuff probably at your local military surplus store, and you find a lot of this stuff online. Just look for survival guides, survival books online. Maybe one day I'll write a few myself. So guys, these are important things to have. You got it, but it's not enough to watch Bear Grylls on TV. All that's going to get you is breaking your back or neck or leg trying to climb up some impossible climb like he always did in every show. The last thing I'd ever want to do is do the stuff Bear Grill does. You know, that'll get you in some serious trouble if you're not. You know, he was a guy climbing the Himalayan mountains. You know, trying to emulate him probably isn't the best thing in the world to do. So I'd highly encourage you to go camping. Go hiking, take your friends, your family, or go by yourself if you can get anybody else to go, if you can do it. Now, a lot of us are getting on up there in age and it's getting harder to do. But you know, that's one way to learn some wood skills is get out there and practice them. You might study them a little bit, maybe get some people to advise you. Go with somebody that knows the stuff if you can. Maybe you can join one of these survival groups, one of these survival tribe groups that actually practices stuff. That would be a good move. You can also, there are courses you can take. You know, if you look in Dual Survival, all those guys that started on that show through the years, practically every one of them still offers courses on their own that you can take if you look them up. So, but those aren't cheap. But there's other ways. If you got the money and the time to go do that, knock yourself out. Dave Canterbury, Cody Lundeen, they both have their own schools, and I'm sure each school is good in its own element. Lundeen would be, the desert survival, and the other guy would be good for your eastern woodlands. Anyway, so much for all that, Dave Canterbury. So much for all that, guys. What you need to understand is that things can happen. It can go south. You might find yourself outside your home and not able to get back. Maybe it's a car wreck somewhere out. Maybe you're in a plane crash. Maybe, and then again, it may be that just the gang activity in your area gets too much. You can't handle it. You got to bug out. Maybe you didn't get that survival tribe set up. I encourage y'all to go to survivaltribenetwork.org. But a lot of you guys are, not really active doing that. And so you might find yourself in a world of hurt with all the stuff going down in the world scene. So you need to really seriously consider what you got to do to position yourself to survive, thrive, and stay out of the hive. And it's proposition this channel to help you do that. And that's why I'm telling you this stuff. So, and I'm not going to be able to give you an entire course in a few minutes on how to survive in the wilderness. There are a ton of videos out there that you can watch to get a good start on it, though. But again, watching the video isn't going to do it. You got to get out and do it. So if you start watching a video on somebody tying knots, that ain't going to teach you jack diddle about tying a knot until you've done it yourself a zillion times. There's knots I've tied several times, and I'm going, how did I do that knot? You got to make it motor memory. You got to do it a lot when you get to tying a knot. So maybe shoestring. Some knots become granny knots. They come easy, But these are things to remember, things to do. So, and I'm going to tell you about this family. But first, I want you to consider something else you can do. Like I said, Learn how to eat free from the weeds and the trees. But, you know, some bug out food too might be in order. We got the special. You go to prepwithgreg.com. This stuff is lightweight, unlike the competitors that show themselves trying to pull a box across the threshold. This is a 2-week supply right here. You can get this on special on my site, or also you can get a 3-month supply that's $200 off the 3-month supply. So go to prepwithgreg.com for this stuff, prepwithgreg.com. This has got food in. This is not an empty bucket. So the cool thing about this stuff is you can bury this bucket, or you can throw it in your motorcycle or back of your vehicle in the trunk. It's easy to kick. The stuff lasts 25 years, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 2,000 calories a day. Make this is 4 servings right here, guys. 4 servings, and you can easily throw this in your backpack, and it's not going to hurt your back. Unlike the cans here, this is just 2 servings. This is heavy, and that's going to hurt up against your back. Of course, this has got water in it. But anyway, so that's the differences, guys. Consider that stuff. It's something that you know you need to think about. Consider it an investment in the future. It lasts 25 years, and food prices and whoop. So if you don't use it, you might be glad a few years and say, hey, I got this and I got a bargain on it now. Anyway, so much for that. So let me tell you about this family, about these 4 kids. See, they were on a trip, and they had a plane crash. According to police, the 4 kids' grandma taught them how to fish, hunt, and find safe food in the wild, which is how they miraculously survived on their own in the Colombian forest for more than a month after the plane crash. Let me see if I can pronounce this. The Hutoto children, it's spelled Huitoto. Hutoto, they were aged 13, 9, 5, and one turned 1 while it was 11 months old when the crash occurred. So they were on a flight with their mother in a Cessna single-engine plane from an isolated Amazonian community of our my Hispanic tongue is lacking. So, and they were heading toward San Jose del Gava. I can't pronounce it. When it crashed into the jungle. So what happened is that they survived because their grandmother taught them. Their grandmother was a native, indigenous person. You got to be careful how you say these things. There's so many bugaboos about how you say native, indigenous, and stuff. But she taught those kids how to survive. The oldest one is the one. The 13-year-old girl is who led the way to keeping those kids alive for 40 days, including a baby. A baby. It was 11 months old when this occurred. A baby. Imagine that. They survived 40 days using skills taught them by one of their native ancestors. So according to their grandfather, they were taught how to hunt and fish from an early age. The girl's name was Leslie, and so she was aware of which fruits and seeds to consume in the rainforest and which were harmful. So which ones you could eat and which ones you couldn't eat. That's the important things to know. So you need to know all these things wherever you go. But anyway, what happened is the rescuers, when they got there on the site, they had some sniffer dogs and found these kids. And the mom was in the plane. She had perished, and so did the pilot. So there were 2 adults that perished, and it was just the kids in the jungle. But because the older one, at just a young age of 13, had absorbed enough knowledge from her grandmother, she kept all 4 of them, herself included, and a 11-month-old baby who turned 1 alive for a whopping total of 40 days in the jungle. And they didn't get ate. They might get ate up by skeeters. Yeah, they spent a little time in the hospital, I guess, getting their fluids back to level or whatever. But they survived. You could do it too. You just got to study. If the kids can do it, you can do it. And like I said, some of us, have a hard time with creaky bones and joints. We're getting up there, but it can be done. So pay attention. You can survive. Don't give up. Even if like I said, you may get run out of your house when things get bad. But there are ways to survive. Well, yeah, one of the sniffer dogs got lost, and so they got to go back and find that sniffer dog. They're not going to give up till they find it. They claim they leave no one or no dog behind. I wish Biden had thought about that in Afghanistan. But anyway, so much. My friends, keep that in mind. Survive, thrive, and stay out of the hive. You can do it, but get prepared. Study. Don't be scared. Be prepared for whatever comes at us. A lot of stuff may be coming soon. With that, I'm going to say thank you for watching. Be sure to share my videos. Click my bell, because I've got people regular on my channel telling me that they don't need any notifications, even though they clicked the bell. So it's been squelched a little bit. Now, if you want notifications, you still better click that bell and bang all. but there's some that go out, but it's not what it ought to be. So check back on my channel pretty frequently to see what I got here. And I'm going to say thank you all for watching. And with that, I'm going to say, Greg out.